the first season of the Sunday Sit Rep. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood. What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the 14th episode, almost said 13th, of the Sunday Sit Rep, the official podcast of the Armed Forces Fishing League. And we got a pretty exciting one today. What's going on, Nick?
I have my special guest with me.
Oh, what's going on, ma'am? How are you doing? Good. You gonna talk fishing with us today?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. What's the biggest fish you ever caught? Let's see. Distance.
Okay. This big?
Well, today, guys, we got Curt Shaw, MLF Pro, and one of our devoted AFFL anglers on here today. He's done a lot of good things for us in the social media realm, helping boost us in the Virginia area and all around the country, really. Always had a lot of really nice things to say about us on social media, and he's been devoted coming to our tournaments up in Virginia and coming down to the national championship and finishing second place. It was a tight competition, and congrats to him on that. We're going to dive into that pretty good today. We're going to get to know him a little bit as a Navy veteran and kind of get to know how he got started and into the MLF. And then we're going to talk a lot about his experience in the AFFL so far, and then a lot about the Natty on the back end. You got anything you want to bring up, Nick, before we dive in?
We brought Eddie up in Wisconsin. He's standing up Wisconsin for us next year. It's awesome. I mean, think about what we have this year.
Right.
Next year we're going to have now Wisconsin, Georgia, Kentucky, Indiana all joining. So it's
almost
just
doubling up.
It's growing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it's awesome. It's such a good team of guys too.
Right.
Couldn't ask for more.
Absolutely not. I mean, we really couldn't. I mean, it's been a blast. Everybody that's been involved so far has been absolutely awesome, and I love it, man. Even though the numbers haven't grown like crazy in the past couple of years, it's not about how many; it's the right people. Quality over quantity, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. Absolutely. We also want to give a big shout out to Jeremiah Jensen and Gage Spagnolia and their adventure coming up down to Kentucky Lake for the Bassmaster Team Championship. They qualified through us. And, I think I kind of like that. I feel like Kentucky Lake. So if y'all didn't know, the lake got changed. It was supposed to be, was it Ouachita River in Louisiana? That place looked like it favored locals very much. There's so many backwater areas off that river. If you have any locals there, I mean, they were going to dominate. I feel I could be very wrong. It's fishing. Anybody can stumble upon something great. But definitely look like a local favorite place for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you.
In Kentucky Lake, I mean, in December, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for just about anybody to go down there. And I know Jeremiah and Gage very well, and I definitely think they've got a solid chance to go down there and win that Joker and put one of them in the Classic. That would be sick.
Yeah,
I would be absolutely ecstatic.
Just having them reach that point through this league, just going to the team championship, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. Second year in, I'm not complaining. We got a team going down there to represent us, and hopefully it'll continue to help us grow.
Do they do a live stream on that?
I don't know. We're gonna have to look into it. I think it depends on their production team availability, really. But I know they have enough boats to handle it. I mean, they usually get 250 boats, something around that.
Oh yeah,
for sure. If they are, I'm gonna be watching. I can guarantee you that. Yeah. If I don't find a way to sneak out there, I might have to slide on down to Cuttawaga, Kentucky, and hang out. But so we're gonna go over a couple of upcoming events, and then we're gonna bring in Curt Shaw here in a few minutes and dive in with him pretty deep. So our upcoming events: November 23rd, Georgia's having their last open of the year, unless he decides to add more. But right now, the last open of the year for them, and that is on Lake Hartwell out of Gum Branch Ramp, 23 November. It's a Madison County Shop for a Cop benefit tournament. It's going to be an $80 entry fee, and $10 from each boat is going to go towards that benefit. and help those guys out. Pretty good cause, and I really like the way Philip did a great job kind of heading that up and starting the benefit level opens. I like that method a lot. It's pretty cool how we're able to intertwine in other first responder and military organizations and try to help them out as well. I like it. I like it a lot. And then so 14 December is the excuse me, Philip just commented, change it to Boyles Ramp. That's right. My apologies. I forgot about the damage ramp at Gum Branch. So that last event I just spoke on will be at Boyles. Thank you, Philip, for the assist there. And then after that, we got 14 December in Louisiana on Cross Lake. They're going to be at the Low McFarland American Legion post number 14. And that's a benefit tournament as well. Zach is running that one at a $100 entry fee with an 85% payout, and all the proceeds are going to the Legion there. So once again, an awesome organization we get to tie in with for veterans and give them a little hookup, and they're hooking us up by using their boat ramp, and we're hooking them up by helping fund the Legion. I know this day and age they can probably get all or need all they can get with the economy the way it is.
Definitely.
Well, man, Nick, I don't really have anything else other than the giveaway announcement. Y'all make sure y'all are doing the giveaway like normal. Make sure you're commenting, like, sharing, and commenting hashtag DSitRep for a chance to win. Tonight we got a t-shirt. I don't know if you've got it available to show it, Nick, or not. No worries if you don't. And then I'm
trying to find a power cord real quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all good. You're all good. But we have the t-shirt we've been giving away the past few weeks with the it's not just tournament, it's a brotherhood on the back end. And then we're going to have 2 bottles of Southern Fusion barbecue sauce brought to us by Mr. Jamie Murphy, delivered to you as well. Well, Nick, I don't really have anything else. Do you have anything?
I think that's it.
Well, good deal. Y'all get tuned in, and here we go. We're about to bring in Mr. Curt Shaw, MLF Pro. What's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
What's happening, guys? Nick, you look different, Nick.
Yeah, I found the fountain of youth.
Lucky you.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been centuries people looking for that thing.
Yeah. Congrats on Wisconsin, by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's such a good dude too. We had an awesome conversation. He's a Marine Corps vet. He's awesome.
Great.
Right. So you said Department of Navy.
But yeah, don't get kidding. Fired up already. I'm just
kidding. If there's any Marines in here, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Please don't crucify me for it. What's up, man? So we wanted to dive in. So I mean, we're kind of on that topic, the Department of the Navy. So that's your background, that's your veteran status. So tell us a little bit about that. What you did in the Navy and how long, all those things. Give us a little details on that.
Well, I graduated in '90 from Owatonna, Minnesota. It's just a small little southern Minnesota town. I felt like there was more that I wanted to do than stay there and work in a factory and farm. So I joined the Navy. I saw a commercial that said, "Join the Navy, see the world." So I said, "Sure, sounds great to me." So that was in '90 during Desert Storm. So I spent the first 90 to 94. The first 2 years was spent on an amphib ship over in Bahrain, over in the Gulf, and then the last 2 years I was an operations specialist on the Eisenhower.
Okay, awesome.
So what is
going from Minnesota? I had never been on a plane before. I had never seen the ocean before. So the first time I was ever on a plane, I flew from Chicago to Saudi Arabia. First time I was ever on a plane. So
that's a long flight.
Kind of a shocker. Yeah, that's a long flight.
Yeah, that's a long flight
for sure.
Man, it's and it's not a comfortable flight. I'm assuming you're probably flying Omni Air or one of those.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't good. Like I said, that was back in '90, so who knows? Yeah. But so I ended up getting stationed here in Virginia. So just kind of stuck around.
I hear that. So you're all around the naval port. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
What's that, Nick?
What is an operations specialist? I'm not familiar with.
Oh, okay. we work up in combat on the ship. So if you ever see the movies where they have all the lighted screens and the captain's up there and everybody's screaming, looking at all the screens coming in, that's what I did. I worked on radars and tracking systems and stuff like that.
Okay,
Nice.
cool. So you had a good ASVAB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good ASVAB. I lucked out.
Very nice.
So yeah, I was a yeoman coming out of boot camp. So I had automatically got advanced to an E2 coming out of boot camp.
Nice.
And then they had an accelerated rate program at the time. So you go in as a deck department for a year and a half, and then you go to A school, and then you get advanced up to E4. So that's the route I took.
I'll get some praise in here. I see.
Yeah.
There we go.
They don't help me catch fish.
There you go. Just to make you feel.
Oh, great. Thanks, Shane.
Man, it was cool meeting Shane and you down at the National. I mean, it's cool seeing, like, now I can put faces to names in here.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I had a great time down there meeting everyone. It was a good time.
It was a blast. It was an absolute blast. But before we get into the 90, let's learn a little bit about your background into fishing. So, like, were you fishing back then in Minnesota before you joined the Navy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever even remember the first time I went fishing. I've just always had a memory of me fishing. Just going with my brother and my dad, running down to the creek. We had a little park, Morehouse Park by our house on the Straight River in Minnesota. So I would just wade up and down the Straight River in the mud and just catch whatever I could. So yeah, I mean, I've always fished, and then I joined the Navy and couldn't really do a whole lot of fishing there. I did fish off the ship a couple times when we were at anchor. So
did you get anything?
I didn't. I don't even remember, but there was a guy caught a big hammerhead doing that.
So my grandfather,
yeah, that wasn't very cool. But
my grandfather was in the Navy. He told me they used to catch hammerheads off the ships.
Yeah. Well, it was a really cool experience. When you go at anchor, you have the anchor that's down there, and everything that's around just comes around that anchor. And whales will come up and they'll rub their bellies on the side of the ship. And I mean, everything's around that anchor at night. So it's a great time to just go out and look at stuff. I mean, it was awesome.
Heck yeah.
What's your favorite port you've ever pulled into?
That's a dangerous question.
What's the most beautiful?
That's a dangerous question. But we were all over in the Middle East, Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Bahrain, and all those coming out of there. Rota, Spain. But a lot of the fun times I had were over here, going to Boston and pulling in down to Fort Lauderdale or up in Nova Scotia. Those are really the fun places. Are right here.
I can imagine Fort Lauderdale as a young Navy.
Yeah,
young Navy guy pulling into Fort Lauderdale.
Dangerous.
Jumping off the ship.
Dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, after I got out, I moved up here to Northern Virginia and started a business and, raised kids and at a certain point, the kids are out of the house. The business is doing okay. And I'm sitting around on a Tuesday at noon watching The Price is Right. I was like, man, I gotta do something with my life. So I just, I looked around in my heart and said, what do you enjoy doing? And it's the outdoors, anything with the outdoors and fishing especially. And at that time, it was 2021. The Tackle Warehouse Invitationals was actually called the Pro Circuit then.
Right.
And they had marshals. So I signed up in 2021 to be a marshal for the Pro Circuit. So I got to, sit in the boat and send in information if they caught a fish to the directors so they could keep the leaderboard updated, stuff like that. So that's really how I got my start, is in 2021 as a marshal for the Pro Circuit. And, that was a cool experience, jumping on the boat with those guys. I was with Joey Cifuentes and Alex Davis and Zach Burge and Kyle Hall and Matt Becker. I mean, I was in the boat with all these guys, in 2021, and now I'm fishing against them. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's wild. I mean, that quick. I mean, that's fast. So that's really fast. That's awesome.
I wasn't sure what I was going to do after that. And then, you know, I had a little aluminum boat that I was just, you know, putzed around here in some of these small little lakes. But, you know, once I decided to do it after the 21 season was over for the pro circuit, I went out and bought a boat, bought a bass boat, signed up as a boater for the Toyota Series. And 2022 was my first year as a boater for the Toyota Series, and I fished three full divisions. So I fished 9 tournaments my rookie year in the Toyota Series as a boater. So that was quite the humbling experience for sure. But so that's definitely not the route that I would suggest people to take. You know, going the BFL route, going through the Phoenix League, you know, getting on some of these bodies of water, you know, learning some different techniques from different pros, really learning your way around these bodies of water really helps you when it comes time to jump in the boat and, you know, start guiding around that day. And it was a challenge, but I was up for it. You know, I got a lot of feedback from people saying, you know, I can't believe you would just, you know, join as a boater, your first tournament ever. Cause I'd never even fished club tournaments. This was literally my first tournament I've ever fished in my entire life, was the Toyota Series down at Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was all in for me, or all or nothing. So that's really how it started. It was 2022 all in.
What was that like? Your first ever tournament being something of that caliber? What?
Well, honestly, if it wasn't for me being a marshal the year before, I would have had no idea. I didn't know about going through boat check, or, you know, checking live wells, or, you know, getting a boat number. I didn't know any of that kind of stuff. So I learned all that while I was on the, you know, as a marshal. So, you know, it was nerve-wracking. It really was. I guess the year before that, I was a marshal on Okeechobee. So when Skeet Reese won it that year down at Okeechobee. So, and I knew where he was fishing. So I go down there that following year, and I'm like, okay, well, I know where all these guys were catching fish. So I'm just going to go around to those areas and, you know, see if I can make something happen. And I couldn't get anything happening. Even a camera boat came down there, and he found me, and he was like, hey, where's everybody at? I was like, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody. That should have been a clue right there. I was in the wrong spot. So yeah, there was nobody down there at all. So I caught one fish that day for 1 pound, 8 ounces. That was it. That was my first tournament. One fish for 1 pound, 8 ounces, 2 days of fishing. It was bad, real bad.
Man. Well, you didn't give up. I mean, that's good.
Yeah, I never gave up. It was nice to get across the stage at least.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a long drive too.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big thing that most people don't realize, is the travel that's involved with this. It's exhausting. It really is. But I still love it. I wouldn't trade it. I'll jump in my truck right now and drive 12 hours if I can go fish somewhere.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say this kid I know from New Hampshire. He actually made it onto the elites. It was his rookie year, and I ran into him at a gas station up at the St. Lawrence, and I was talking to him. It's Tim Doobie, and I was talking about it. He's like, honestly, man, he's like, you're a full-time truck driver.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. And it's hard to get out of a gas station. You brought that up, and I mean, having a wrapped boat, I can't just go in and get gas and leave. It just never happens.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's always got to come over and talk to me, which is great. I mean, it's awesome. But, you know, a lot of times I've been in the truck for 12 hours. I'm tired. I just want to get home, and I don't want to sit and take pictures and talk about fishing. But, you know, it happens.
Right.
It must feel good, though. I mean,
oh, yeah. Well, to a point when they start thinking I'm somebody that I'm not. I was down at Lake Chickamauga last year, and I had a guy. I was fishing a little canal, some docks, and I had some guy come running out of the front yard yelling and screaming, and he come running down, and he saw me, and he said, oh, I thought you were Jacob Wheeler, and turned around and just walked back up, never said hi, never said nothing. I was like, wow, okay. Could have at least just said hi, been a little bit kind.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, yeah, that's not a Lamborghini. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang. Well, with that, though, like, so tell us this. I mean, that first tournament had to be crazy discouraging. Just looking at it from the outside looking in, I know if I went down there, if I went all in and I caught one fish that was less than 2 pounds in 2 days, I would just be beat, dude. Like, I would be like, screw the rest of this year.
Yeah.
I'm done. I
Well,
suck.
that's
You know,
happened a lot. That's happened a lot where and it makes for a long drive home. I can tell you that.
right.
I can tell you that championship day, watching it in the truck on the way home. It's not nearly as fun as being there on championship day fishing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Right, for sure. So, like, what helps you get through that? Like those moments, like, what is it that you would suggest to somebody else that if they went and did this right now, what is it that, because I mean, you keep going and you went up to the next level. Like, you've got something that's different than a lot of people, because a lot of people would have given up. What is it that keeps you going? And that when you have those moments, because we all doubt it ourselves, right? I mean, every man does. It's part of it. But like, what helps you keep pushing forward and keep trying to elevate even further?
I think I'm obviously older. I'm 52 years old. So I'm pretty much in check with my emotions, and in doing this, it wasn't to it wasn't to become world famous and try to make $1 million fishing. That's very difficult to do. It happens, obviously, but my goal was to just get around like-minded people and do something I enjoy doing. Enjoy the experience of just talking, fishing with guys, traveling the country, fishing these lakes that I would never go to. I mean, I would never just pack up my stuff and just drive to West Point Lake in Georgia for the heck of it. It's given me an opportunity to fish a lot of places that I never would have fished before. And, for me, that's really what it is. It's just being able to have new experiences and meet new people and go to new places. And that's really what it is for me. It's not about, trying to be famous and of course I'd love to win. Who wouldn't,
Right. Yeah. Right.
The goal of it all. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to dig myself out too bad, but I'd love to win, and I love to cut some checks and keep it going. Because without it, it's terribly difficult without a support system behind you. Very difficult.
Yeah. Right. For sure. That dude, man, that's an awesome outlook. Like, just being 100% honest and transparent. Like, that is a cool outlook. I really like that. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of fishing, and I've never heard anybody with that outlook there. It's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's not about any of that. It's about just the experience. That's cool,
Yeah.
dude.
It really is. Because if you look at the money aspect of it, you're paying to play. I'm paying for the memories, and I have a lot of them, and they're worth every penny. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just like fishing, man. I just like fishing.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
That's all.
That's what it's all about. That's where we all, and I think that's something, a lot of people should take away from this is like, that's why we got here to begin with, right? Was to be around guys we like, be, around fishermen and the passion for fishing. But then sometimes, like, I know myself, and I'm sure other guys on here watching stuff, you get wrapped up in I got to do this in this tournament. I got to do that. And you get started focused and stop focusing on, hey, I'm just here because I love fishing and I like hanging out with guys that like fishing. That's the whole reason we all started this, right?
Yeah.
And then now we get to a point where some of us are like, dang, bro, like last year was a good year. This year I can't even win a dang club tournament. You know what I mean? Like, you start, getting in your head.
Yeah, that was this year.
Right. You start getting in your head, but just having that perspective to step back and say, hey, I ain't going to sit here and forget everything I started it for.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. And whatever happens in the future, I've had a great experience already. In just the 3 years I've been tournament fishing, I went, from catching one fish all the way up, to the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, and had an amazing year. Not points wise, but going to new fisheries that you haven't been to, and you have a chance to figure those out, and you're fishing against some of the best guys in the world. A lot of those Bass Pro Tour guys, they come down, they fish the Invitationals, and it was I had on my Instagram page, I was with Shaw Grigsby, and we're standing side by side, and you read their names. It says Shaw Grigsby, and you know, moments like that. You know, I grew up watching that guy. I grew up watching, you know, the Roland Martins and Hank Parker and, you know, Orlando Wilson. I grew up watching all those guys, and you know, to be standing next to him talking fishing, I mean, I can't
really
ask
cool
for anything
picture.
better. It's awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Absolutely.
You guys watching, I'm gonna drop it in the comments. Your what's the tag on Instagram so people can follow you?
Curt Shaw _fishing.
Boom. Here, I'll put it up here as well. So I mean, I feel like you got anything else on the MLF you want to talk?
You know, there's just a lot of stuff going on with the MLF right now, with all the rules changes, which, you know, it's going to affect me too, depending on what I'm going to do here. But you know, I just fishing's been getting a bad name lately, and you know, and I think that there's a lot of people that are looking at it the wrong way, and we're getting away from why we do it in the first place, and it just gets really easy for people to get online and, you know, keyboard warrior and just start causing chaos where there doesn't need to be chaos caused. So you either like the rules or you don't like the rules. I'd follow the rules, and whatever they decide to do, it's not going to keep me from fishing. So I just like to see a little more positivity going around in the fishing world right now in the industry.
Well, I think if people had your outlook on it, like the whole there for the experience, you know, I think that would change a lot.
Yeah, well, that's tough to do.
I know. But I'm
yeah,
saying, if
for sure.
People had that outlook, you know, or just thought about it in that aspect. I mean, I feel like a lot more people would just be more level-headed and enjoy it. I mean, it's fishing.
Yeah. And I don't get it. I don't get it. So I don't get in fights about it. I don't get in arguments about it. And, you know, that's what's great talking to guys, you know, in the industry about fishing is we all know what we're talking about. We can all relate to one another. If you're telling me you're throwing a chatterbait, I know what that is, you know, or if you're, you know, dragging a lizard, Carolina rig, I know what that is. And that's what's fun for me, is to be able to talk shop without having to explain myself to someone that doesn't really fish a whole lot. And I know a lot of people like to talk fishing with me. I do to an extent, but there's a lot of times I just don't even talk about it, you know, but I don't know, being around guys after tournaments, you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Yeah. When the after the tournament, when everybody's hanging out and BSing and talking.
Yeah. Or even before tournament starts there at takeoff. Yeah. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. That's the part we all like. I mean, most of us, I guess, you know, I do like listening to some of the old timers, like that dang live scope. I'm tired of donating to the live scope. Bo, I ain't used it all year. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
My favorite thing.
So that's a change for sure. And I haven't really used it. I used it predominantly at Table Rock Lake, and I got my butt handed to me there. But typically I don't use it a lot. I really, really don't. So to see the rules changes, you know, where we're allowed to use it period 1, period 3, or, you know, we're allowed to use it for 1 period, the forward facing sonar. You know, I wouldn't care if they got rid of it, in my personal opinion. And I see they're trying this out, at least, you know, limiting it to see what the reaction is going to be this year. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, for me, I could take it or leave it, honestly. They could ban it, and I wouldn't mind one bit. You know, or bring it back. It doesn't bother me one bit. What does bother me is the 360. That I don't understand. It's not live sonar, but they're putting that in the same band category as the forward facing sonar. I guess I'm not quite sure how they see that, but
I didn't know that.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that either.
They put 360, same with forward facing sonar.
So you can only use it like a period.
Yes. So they'll have I guess some sort of cover that they're going to, you know, we have to put over the top of our transducers so they can see the cover. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it's going to go. That's all. That's all.
Y'all don't have marshals, right?
The what?
Y'all don't have marshals anymore in the Invitational.
No, we have a camera that has to be recording the whole day.
Okay, tracking.
So that's really how that works. Is we just got to have a camera going. So
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a way that they can police it. So, but it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of those. A lot of controversy with the young guns coming up, saying, a lot of guys saying that they don't know how to do anything except live scope. So, how are they going to be successful? And, they're already at a level now. Are they going to regress once forward facing sonar is limited? It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with these circuits this year. Same with Bassmaster too. And NPFL, they outlawed it altogether. So it's gone in the NPFL.
Right. I really liked the MLF's approach because it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. It does give the guys that are really good with it an opportunity to kind of have a moment to progress real quick. And then it gives the guys that don't want to use it or don't like it or whatever, it gives them the opportunity to, hey, I've got this time dedicated to where if I want to go be old school and sling a square bill all day long, I can.
Right.
And not worry about it. Not worry about some guy out there shaking a minnow all day over 5 different fish. And not saying that negative here or there, but it's just a different technique. It is. I mean, realistically, in my opinion. But I'm like you. Like, I don't care. I want to watch people catch fish on TV. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're shaking a minnow or square bill and riprap. Like,
it's fun watching them fish.
Right, for sure. And doing it. But yeah, well, the good news is I don't think you have to worry about any bans in the AFFL.
I never used it when I was down at Natty.
Oh yeah,
I haven't used it at any of the tournaments actually.
I can't. I suck at it. Like, I catch 1 fish a year on it, probably. A catfish now. Come on. y'all wanna have a catfish tournament. Let's square up with the live scope. I got you. You come down to Santee Cooper and I'll wear your butt out on some catfish with the live scope.
It's so hard with 2 people in the boat. I mean, one guy's just kind of standing there, and if you're both trying to cast at a fish, you're just getting your lines tangled up. And I mean, it's just I'd rather go beat the bank or drag a Carolina rig off point somewhere.
Absolutely,
do something like that. But it does get frustrating getting your butt whooped every tournament because you won't go out there in that deep water and do it. So I have a hard time doing that. It's something I need to learn. It's something that to get behind it, I guess. I feel like I'm pretty efficient with it. But it's just in a tournament situation to take the time and dedicate yourself. Like, hey, I'm going to go do this for 3 hours. Well,
right.
A tournament day goes by so fast. You may chase one fish around for 45 minutes that's not even going to bite. So, a lot of times I feel like I'm wasting time just by doing it. So I'll go throw, pitch docks or something, find some laydowns or some rocky points instead of getting out there live scoping. But
absolutely. Yeah.
I enjoyed fun fishing. That's all that I do. I'd love it. Fun fishing by myself, just out fun fishing. It's great, but there's no pressure.
Exactly.
No pressure. You just go fish.
Right.
I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I think
it is great. Tournament setting. I agree with a lot of the old timers that at some point in time they have to draw a line somewhere.
I agree.
And
100%.
It could, eventually, who knows? It could be showing a camera that can see through the water better, and instead of little, smudges on your screen, it actually shows fish. I mean, at some point in time, they had to draw a line, and I think with live sonar, it's a good line to draw for professional fishing. I really do. Right. It's good line.
Right.
We'll see what happens this year, though.
Yeah, eventually, if they don't, I mean, you're going to have them aqua views, but they can see out 60 feet.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's coming to. Yeah, right. 100%.
I'm still real questionable on the aqua view. Like, I heard some of the Elite Series guys up north were dropping the aqua views. They weren't even fishing. They were just dropping aqua views down.
Yeah, I saw that too. A lot of those guys, they'll do that. They'll drop those aqua views and look at all the smallmouth on beds and try to determine, is that one 4 pounds? Because that's not going to help me. I've already got 4-pounders. So they're driving around with that aqua view looking for 5 or 6 pound smallies on those beds. Because that's what's going to make the difference. You're going to go up there and catch 20 pounds. Well, everybody's going to do that. You got to have that 5-pound kicker, 6-pounder to really push you over the edge. And using a lot of that technology. Same with the floggers. I've got my flogger sitting up here on the shelf right now, but
I need to get up there so bad. That comment, like
Yeah,
everybody does. It's like, why have I not been there yet? I would just die for a 20-pound bag of smallmouth today.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. I mean, accurate. Actually, yeah.
I can't get enough of it. If I wish I could live up there, honestly, for 4 months, I'd love to get up north and just fish every day up there. Really would. St. Lawrence is just, it's a blast.
There's nothing like it.
No.
Let's all go in, all the AFFL, everybody on one of them castles. It's like 10 grand a night.
I'm in.
We all do it.
I'm in.
You know, it'll be cheap.
I had a Toyota Series event where I got a big house that had 12 bedrooms. We had a whole bunch of people in there. We had 6 boats in there, but it's fun to do something like that. You know, it's cheap. It only ends up costing a couple $100, and everybody's in the same house. And
yeah,
they're north catching big smallmouth. Can't beat it.
Yeah. I was about to say, what can you do better than that?
Not a lot.
I don't know who this is. I will take you on Santee. I will not promise you anything on Santee. I will take you there. I will not promise you to catch anything on that lake right now. It is horrible. I hate it. I love it. But I hate it at the same time. That lake has whipped my butt for the last 2 years. Did
you guys hear about that Toyota Series event there where they had to cancel day 2? It was really bad. The wind picked up and it was brutal. Everybody's boats were breaking. My boat broke. I ended up just getting stuck in a cove. I mean, people were coming back, going to the emergency rooms. Guy broke his hand laying out on the deck. We had no business being out there at Santee. That place gets brutal.
I totaled a G3 out there.
I believe it.
It got me really good one night on a Wednesday night tournament. We went down into Wabu from Talk Hall, and man, that place it can turn quick, fast, and in a hurry. I mean, it was flat, calm, and how shallow it is. That wind picked up, and we were tucked away. Come back to like 4 to 6 footers the whole way back from Wabu to Talk Hall, just eating them. Had 9 cracks in the hull, and every stiffener under the front deck was shattered. I mean, it was,
yeah.
Poor boat.
I lost my whole front graph mount, and I had to try to put it on with a Leatherman. I mean, it was bad.
Yep. She'll get
Austin,
you.
is your profile picture on Santee?
No, that's actually on the Cooper River.
I was gonna say you can't hate it too bad holding up fish like that. I'll just show it now, just so people can see that.
That's the Cooper River. That's
okay.
Not
Nice
Santee
one.
Cooper.
Yeah.
That's the river after Santee. And that was like 3 years ago. I haven't had a bag like that in a minute. That was a fun day. But that was actually my first ever club tournament win. Like my first tournament win ever. Except a Tuesday nighter. I think I won a Tuesday nighter once, but
good sack.
Yeah, dude, I was
shaking. You have with me. That was that was Chickamauga last year. The promo picture.
Yeah,
that was me at Chickamauga last year at the Toyota Series event.
Some
big
good
difference this year.
Well, I guess it's a curse. I was leading day 1 down there too last year after the Toyota Series. So
you gotta break it.
Yeah, I gotta work on my day 2s, I think.
Yeah, it's tough, man. The day 2s suck. Like we got pretty nervous, so we can use this to kind of lean into the natty. I'm not gonna lie. So we had y'all had 14.25 on day 1, and me and Jeremiah had 14.10 or 14.15. I mean, we were right behind.
Yeah, right there.
And we ended up catching. I think we were sitting at like 16 flat or something at like 2 o'clock. We caught that 5-pounder pretty early, and he had like a 2-pounder in the box like pretty quick, and then it was just like nothing for a while, and we were like, oh no, dude, this place is dying. We're losing our juice here. Like, I don't know what's happening. And then we started catching some fish again, but we got to 16 pounds, and we were like, I was feeling good. I was like, yeah, we might be all right. We might be all right. And he's like, yeah, but if they were on 18 to 20 pounds and they dumped a couple of bad fish and they go and catch them today, we're out of luck. And I was like, man, why you got to think like that? Like I was all up vibing and chilling. And then next thing I know, I'm like terrified. I was like, yeah, dude, that's a really good point. Like if they just had a bad day yesterday and they go whack them today, we're out of luck here.
Well, we had the same kind of conversations going on our boat too. So
yep. Man, it was a blessing for us. I will be honest. Like that's what it was. And I look at all the wins I've had and all the tournament experiences I've had as a blessing. We found that stuff out kind of by accident a little bit. Just being 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of a deal. I don't know if you watched the one where we kind of dove into it at all. But that little deal we had going on, we were just going up there to catch some 14-inch fish to fill our limit on the first day at like noon. And then we looked at some rocks and we're like, well, we'll just, fish a little further. And then he caught a 3-pounder. And then we just continued to catch fish. Like we had no intentions of fishing that wall whatsoever, or that rock bank whatsoever. And then they just kept coming. It was so weird. And I look at all those things as blessings. You know what I mean? Like, normally I would have bailed. If I was driving the boat, I probably would have bailed before we ever got that far.
Yeah. Well, practice was kind of tough.
Oh, it was brutal from what I heard. I didn't get to practice at all.
Yeah, practice was kind of tough. I mean, I found some good areas. Obviously last year when I was there for the Toyota series, that was in the spring, so it was completely different.
Right.
So I went and looked at some of the drains coming out of the pockets where, I had caught fish where some of that bait goes up into in the fall. And then some offshore stuff, some humps, and, we were catching some decent fish there. And then the tournament comes around and the water dropped 4 feet that night in one night.
Yeah.
And, all that stuff that I was fishing, I couldn't fish any of it. So really that day one, I kind of putted around and tried to fish some of that stuff. I really couldn't do it. It just wasn't working. So I just like, well, I'm just going to go find some current. I'm going to try to find some current, try to find some rock, try to find some deeper water. Cause if that water level is dropping, they're not going to be up on some shallow 2-foot flat if that water's dropping that fast. So
right.
I tried to find a little bit deeper water and some rock and some current. And, and I found that it was sort of on accident too. I just pulled up to a point on an island and just made a cast. I wasn't sure which side I wanted to float down. And, the current just took me one way and that's the way I was going to go. And I caught a fish like right off the bat. And I was like, well, I've never fished down this. So I'm just going to go, just stay on it. And as long as the current's pulling me, I'm good. And I had a little bit of rock, a little bit of grass, and then some deeper water with some deep wood in it. And I was running a heavy spinnerbait on that outside grass edge. My partner, he was throwing a spinnerbait, square bill, chatterbait. But yeah, them fish got stacked up on that one edge of that one island, and that's kind of where we stayed most of the time. They just kept reloading, and then that second day, they didn't reload. They didn't reload like they were before. But we still caught some fish in there. That's just just wouldn't happen. I missed a big one in the morning right away. It was dangerous in the morning. Did you guys go? You didn't go south, did you?
I did. Yeah.
We went north.
That was bad. I'm glad I stopped at that area before the fog got really bad because there was a lot of, full-size trees floating down. It was bad with the fog too. You couldn't see anything.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I had a great time. Of course, figuring something else out too. I had never fished that area before, and I think that's something that'll be good in the spring too. I think. So as long as you're learning something every time you go somewhere. That's what it's all about. And time on the water, you can't beat it. You can watch as many videos as you want and read as many books as you want, but to be a better fisherman, you have to be on the water.
Yeah, right.
Period.
Absolutely. Finding out the little nuances, right? Like yeah, anybody can learn how to go throw a big heavy spinnerbait by YouTube, but it's finding out those little nuances, like you figure it out, like the way those fish were setting up on that grass line, knowing how to position your boat, make the right cast, and drag them through. I'm assuming kind of knowing how fish set up in current and grass, they were pretty consolidated, and you had to make pretty accurate casts to hit them, right?
Yeah, it was they were just sitting right on that out. I'd throw on the inside of it because the grass line was pretty small. It was pretty narrow. So I could cast on the inside of that grass line. And if they didn't hit it on the inside, as soon as it came out of that grass, They were just sitting right there, just waiting for anything to come out of that grass. So
right. But it's the time
same
on the
thing
water. Right.
The what?
The time on the water is what taught you that, right? Like
Yeah.
learning how to position and make that right cast.
Yeah. And even if I go, a period of month or 2 months, I can tell, just if I'm going to flip docks or something, just being off for a month really makes a difference on how you can stock, or, just the feel of different baits, if you're throwing a tube or a spinner bait, just to have that feel of that bait again. If you're not doing it all the time, it just, you get rusty. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, y'all want to see a frustrated person jump in my boat when I ain't been flipping docks in a couple months, and then come to the first dock with me?
You better hope the homeowner don't come out after you smash into his boat.
Yeah. Sitting there picking out backlashes for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The
time on the water, and a lot of, I envy a lot of these guys they get paid to do this. I don't get paid to do this, but a lot of these guys do. They've got that good sponsors, and, they're already out on the lake right now. They've got the schedule for next year, and they're already out there, fishing and marking waypoints and learning about the lakes. And, to be able to do that's fantastic. I can't do that, but, and it shows. Those guys are awesome. I mean, they show up to these lakes and they know exactly what they're going to do, and they go do it. Where me, I'm driving around, because we only get 3 days now on the invitationals, where, in the Toyota series, we could take as much time as we wanted, but, now we only get 3 days to practice, and it's a 30-day off limits period before that. So we can't even get on the water at all. And, and then our 3 days, and a lot of these places I've never been to. So it's, okay, now I got to break this place down. I'm going to Sam Rayburn. It's gigantic. I got to try to break this thing down in 3 days, or going up to Detroit River, where I've got all of Lake Erie, all of St. Clair, and all of the Detroit River to fish. I mean, where do you start? And, what are you going to do? So it's having the confidence really to do that, is jump on these bodies of water and like, okay, well, let me break this thing down. And you got 3 days to do it. So, you gain confidence when you can figure something out. And there's a lot of times where I don't figure anything out till the last hour of the last day of practice. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Right.
But you usually do.
Intimidating. Them especially them big giant bodies of water. I mean, it's intimidating. For sure.
And especially these guys, a lot of these guys have been on that body of water 15, 20, 30, 50 times for the last 20 years, or even a lot of these younger college anglers where, they may be only, 19, 20 years old, but, they've been to more lakes than I have tournament fishing, with the high school and the college. So, a lot of these college guys come up, they've already fished 50 tournaments by the time they get out of college.
Right.
So they've already got time on the water before they ever even start.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's great. So you've traveled a lot. So what is I think I know the answer to your favorite. What's your favorite? You mean
besides St. Lawrence?
So what's your favorite and your least favorite?
Well, St. Lawrence, of course.
Yeah.
Anywhere up, Lake Erie, St. Lawrence, Champlain's. It's fun at certain times of year. My least favorite that I've fished so far is West Point Lake. It's one of my maps on here. I don't know if you guys have ever even heard of it.
Yeah, I went.
Never heard a single good thing about it.
Yeah, and they hadn't had a tournament there in like 15 years or something when we went there. And it was bad. The bite was bad. The guys that won it were able to find, maybe 1 or 2 largemouth. Everything else was, 1.5 pound, 2 pound spotted bass. And it was just a struggle. And if you caught a 3 pound largemouth, you were really doing something, because it was definitely a tournament of 2 pound spots, 100%. And I just could never find the largemouth bite. But so that lake, I'm not a fan. I don't ever see me going back unless I have to. But it is what it is. It's a new lake. I fished it. I figured it out. I caught some fish, and there you go. Move on.
Yep, absolutely. It's an experience.
Yep.
Learn something every time you go.
Yeah,
that lake sucks.
It does. And then It was so cold and windy. It was probably the most miserable I've ever been. And I can speak for a lot of guys when I say that. It was after that tournament, we're all just sitting there at the weigh-in. We were just all miserable. We all just wanted to go take a shower and climb into a warm bed. It poured down rain all day long. It was just brutal.
Yeah.
Nothing good about that.
Yeah.
Except I was fishing. That's it.
Yep. That's part of it sometimes. You gotta deal with the weather.
Yeah.
But heck yeah. So what would be do you have something, Nick?
I was just gonna ask, like, what's the biggest bag that you've ever weighed in?
At Chickamauga last year at Chickamauga at the Toyota Series. It was 24.4. That's my biggest bag so far.
Yeah.
I had a 612, a 6'9", a 514, and a couple, 2.5 pounders.
Right, back to the weigh-in straight cheesing.
Yeah. Well, I caught all those by 9 o'clock. I caught them all right away in the morning, and I didn't even know what to do the rest of the day. But I knew I wasn't going to start running around. I was like, man, I told my co-angler, I said, man, I can't be running all over this lake with that many fish in the live well like that. I said, we're going to stick around this area. But it worked out. He did catch a limit, so he was right up at the top of the leaderboard after that day. So
awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, so that 612, that'd be the biggest one during a tournament too.
Yeah.
Nice.
That one fish and that one bag. Yeah.
That's awesome. So next year in the AFFL tournaments, you're gonna weigh a 25-pound bag. Break that record.
Probably could down there at Chesden.
Yeah.
Or the chick.
Yeah, chick would be
it's very possible.
Yeah. Gunnersville, I think there's definitely going to be some chances for some 20-pound bags.
Yeah. Gunnersville, I love Gunnersville too. That's a fun place.
Right. I think Chick would have been a lot better, and we would have seen a lot more fish if we did not have that horrendous hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do about that?
Right.
We still caught fish, but
yeah,
that certainly wasn't ideal.
Right.
It certainly wasn't. But
yeah, that definitely changed the fishery a lot. But
yeah.
It was
you guys did an awesome job down there. You really did, getting all that stuff put together. I really appreciate that. You did a good job. Yeah, it went real smooth. I mean, never really had any issues from the fisherman's standpoint. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes, but it went smooth on our end.
I felt like it went smooth. But
yeah.
I like hearing the other side of it.
yeah, for sure.
And kudos to you for sticking to your guns with all that controversy about fishing in the creek. Yeah, got a lot of respect for you for that. I mean, it's like, no, this is what we're doing. This is the plan, and this is what we're doing. So good for you on sticking your guns on that one.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Stuff. Everyone's, open to ask any question at any time. But, we're always open to input, but we just can't,
You can't start changing rules the evening before the tournament starts.
Right. For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, that one caught me a little off guard. I'm glad you were standing up there, not me, Nick.
Yeah. I'm just glad you stuck by your guns. I respect you for that.
Yeah, you handled it very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
And I get a lot of there's a difference between second place and second place. I know it sounds weird, but when you're leading it and then you get second place, it's a different feeling when you're telling somebody you got second place. They're like, oh, it's amazing, you got second place. Well, yeah, when you're leading it and then you drop to second place, it's a different feeling than being like 50th and working your way up to second place. That's a great feeling. But being first and then dropping to second place, it just has a little different feel to it.
Yeah.
Still honored to be there, but
oh yeah. It was a blast. I mean,
yeah,
we even before, like I had a lot of fun the whole week. I mean, and I didn't even get to get on the water until Friday morning. Just hanging out with the dudes, man. That was my favorite part for sure. Hanging out in the houses with everybody, and after the meeting, everybody kind of hanging around and just sitting around chit chatting. It was definitely fun.
And me wandering into, was it Nick's? Was that your house I was wandering in? Yeah. I thought that was the check-in for the cabin rentals. So I'm wandering around. I was like, hey, is anybody in here? And they're like, yeah, this is our house. I was like, oh, where do I check in? Yeah, that was funny.
That's awesome.
Oh,
It
yeah.
I could definitely see how if you came in that side road, it does definitely look like.
That looks
Sure.
like that's where you're supposed to check in.
Yeah.
And if you
For
type in the address, that's what shows you is that house.
Yeah.
They don't show the marina.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Just walk in. Man, I wonder how much I bet you that happens a lot. Like
Oh, I guarantee it.
people
Yeah.
posting in.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
But man,
That's
what would
I mean, it was decent having those two ramps there. I know some guys had some issues. I'm not sure what was going on with them, but you know, it's a great place to go out of a small tournament like that.
Oh,
I
for
can't
sure.
believe they had the Bill Dance Big Bass Bash out of there. That was pretty big. There was a
They
lot of
had,
boats in there.
basically that whole parking lot where like the trailer parking was, most of
Yeah.
that was set up with their stage and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool. I like that spot a lot. It was a nice venue.
Yeah. Well, I stayed there last year too.
Yeah.
In those cabins. Yeah.
Yep.
We, you know, so you guys looking forward to next year or what?
absolutely.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, kind of like you were talking about earlier. Like I wouldn't just pack up and go to Chickamauga or Gunnersville. Like this is giving me a reason to go down there and check it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. No hurricanes, please.
No
Yeah,
hurricanes.
please.
No hurricanes. No severe weather conditions, no matter what. Just give us a nice, beautiful
It's
fall.
not very often we got perfectly good weather to fish any tournament, really.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what time of year.
No,
where you're at.
no.
Yeah, always
And then it's
try
like you
to-
watch TV the next week and it's perfect conditions for the next
Oh, yeah.
group that's there. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like that. It do be like that. But what would you say, like your overall impression, like your experience in the AFFL? So you fished with AFFL Virginia this year. Did you fish last
Yep.
year with them as well?
No, this is the first year I fished with them. And
Yeah.
I really wish I knew how I even got. I think I was at an expo, a fishing expo in Richmond last year, and I heard somebody talking about it, and you know, I was interested and started talking to him about it, but I don't remember exactly who it was. I wish I did, but that's how I found out about it. Was at a fishing expo in Richmond last year. So
That's awesome.
you know, I signed up, reached out to Dave, and got some information on it, and you know, it's just another opportunity to meet guys like you guys, you know, for a good cause, military, and you know, anything I can do for military, first responders, you know, any cause like that. It's just, how could you not want to do it? You know,
Right.
You know, to like you said, it's a brotherhood,
Absolutely.
and fortunately, this year, it didn't conflict with the MLF schedule at all. One tournament, I think we had one tournament at Lake Anna, and I was at Kentucky Lake, so I wasn't able to fish that tournament, but I was able to make it to all the other ones. So I'm hoping that that works out again this year, and I can get to as many of them as I can, and keep spreading the word.
Heck yeah.
It's a great organization. I love it. If I still lived in Minnesota, I'd open up a Minnesota chapter.
I want to
So-
get up in Minnesota bad.
I do too.
Yeah.
All them
Fishing
natural
is
lakes up there. Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I definitely want to get up there one day. Fish that
Oh, yeah.
real grass.
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't have anybody up there yet, huh?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. We're working our way out. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'll put the word out.
No, I
Heck
appreciate
yeah.
it. Yeah.
We appreciate, man, like everything you do in your social media. I
Yeah.
mean, and then I meant to pull this up. I don't know if I'm gonna screen share. But your media kit you sent us, man, that's pretty cool. And like sitting there looking at it and how you have our schedule on it, and what we are and who we do. When I seen that today, I was like, that's pretty dang sick. Like, I appreciate that. And I know Nick does too, very thoroughly. But kind of what you were talking about, like getting in with the organizations and stuff and being around them. Thing is pretty cool to see, like the Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Wounded Warrior Project and Fishing for Life that you're involved with on your thing. I mean, it's pretty cool what you're doing. Staying involved with all these nonprofit organizations and using your passion for fishing to do so, I think is pretty dang awesome.
Yeah, and that's the silent part that goes, kind of unnoticed, and it should. I do that for me, not for, and everyone I'm helping. It's not for notoriety. It's doing my part to help some kids out or help some veterans out in any way I can. That's what it's all about. Anything I can do, I'm willing to help any good cause I can. It's the good things in life that keep us good.
Exactly.
That speaks volumes of your character for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, what you got for him, Nick? You got anything? Starting to get a little late here.
I think we covered it all, really.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, anytime you guys want to have me on, just chat fishing or technique or lures or spots to fish, whatever. Just hit
Absolutely.
me up.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start like a monetary thing where we sell waypoints or something. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You need to call Bubba Blade.
Yeah.
Bubba.
Oh,
what's that? Did you guys see? Because we get issued a Bubba scale. Bubba's a big sponsor now for MLF. And at the beginning of the year, at our pre-tournament meeting, we get issued a Bubba scale, and that's what records all the weights, so they can have a leaderboard so you can see it. Is that Bubba scale is doing all that? It's providing GPS coordinates and all that good jazz. So if you want some good information, Bubba scale has all of it. Just to let you know. It has every MLF tournament angler, where they caught their fish, what time, all that information. So that's who you need to get in touch with.
Yeah, need to figure out how to hack their website.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be $1 million hack right there for sure.
Yeah,
dang straight. Well, good deal, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, taking about an hour to come spend some time with us and talk with us. And appreciate all the devotion you've shown us, man. I mean, all the shout outs on social media, coming all the way to the national championship, fishing your heart off in it. And it's awesome. We're appreciative of all the anglers like you that are dedicating themselves to it. And y'all go, I've had his name up here on the screen on Instagram. Get over there and follow him on Instagram at Curt_Shaw. At Curt Shaw _fishing. And then it's just Curt Shaw Fishing on Facebook, right? Just how you would normally spell it and say it, right? Y'all get over there, give him a follow. And man, next year, whether you're fishing with us or not, if you're in those tackle warehouse, good luck, brother.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We'll be watching you for sure.
Thanks. I need the fanfare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Well,
Take
good
care,
deal,
guys.
man. See ya.
See you later.
All right, y'all. That was Curt Shaw, MLF Tackle Warehouse Invitational Pro, and one of our devoted anglers. Absolutely awesome dude, man. I mean, sitting there talking with him, showing his passion, and his outlook is awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I mean, I really
mindset.
Yeah, and I'm being genuine when I say, like, I've never heard another angler like talk like that. Like,
no.
Hey, at the end of the day, this is what I love to do. This is the experience. I'm here for the memories and the experience, and that's what keeps me going. It's such an awesome way to think about it. I mean, because really, that's what got us all here to begin with.
Oh yeah,
absolutely awesome. But yeah, y'all. Real quick, we've been tailoring around between 10 and 15 people in here, and I've only got 8 entries in the giveaway. So real quick, before we get started with closing everything out and whatnot, make sure y'all get over there, like, share, and comment #TheSitRep for your chance to get a t-shirt and some barbecue sauce, and get entered in that real quick before we start looking at the drawing. Oh yeah. Let me switch it up. Here we go. Just like that, y'all. Get that done. And then, yeah, man, what do you got, Nick, before we dive into the upcoming events? You got anything to close out with?
I don't know. Again, Wisconsin's on board, so super excited about that. And then we have, if we want to just go over those couple opens again real quick. Put those dates up there. Absolutely.
So 23 November, Hartwell in Georgia at the Broyles Boat Ramp. Georgia's doing their last open event. and that's a Madison County Shot for a Cop benefit tournament. $80 entry fee, $10 from each boat goes towards the benefit. So make sure y'all get down there and support Phillip Hunt and the Georgia division as they're trying to gear up for their first season next year. And then 14 December on Cross Lake in Louisiana, Zach's going to be running our tournament down there with Low McFarland. I hope I'm saying that right. There's probably some weird Louisiana way to put a spin on that. No offense, guys. I'm just playing. But the American Legion post number 14 right there on Cross Lake. That one's out of that boat ramp at the Legion. $100 entry fee, 85% payout, and all of the proceeds are going to the Legion to help those veterans out that sit there, hang out, drink beer, do whatever they do in a Legion. I'm not that level of veteran status yet, so I really don't know, but I'll get there eventually, I'm sure. For sure.
Those organizations, actually, they do a lot to help veterans.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know they do. They do a lot of fundraisers and stuff, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I was thinking of the VFW more than the Legion. I know like all my local VFWs around here, they do great things. I'm not trying to take away from the good things they do by any means. But they do like to sit around and have a cold beer and tell some cool war stories.
They do.
Yeah. I popped into the one here at the South Carolina Cotton Museum. We restored a T-33 aircraft for them. And cool. Those dudes are so sick. I love every one of them. I mean, they're so awesome. They just want to sit around and have a good time and talk about war. It's pretty dang cool. So, well, I reckon with that, Nick, if you don't have anything, we'll move on to the giveaway portion real quick. Let's see. All right, we got a couple more people to jump in here real quick, and we'll go ahead and sling it up. I see a lot of different names today. I like it. We're not going to have a double up. Chris Warren. Chris, congratulations, man. It was wonderful to meet you and sit there and tell some stories and talk back and forth down at Chickamauga. Congrats, man. We'll get that stuff moving on you. I'll ship out the barbecue sauce, and Nick's going to get you that shirt sent over. So make sure you hit up Nick and hit up me or one of us, and we'll share the address with the other. Get us that address and whatever size t-shirt you want, and we'll get that stuff moving right over towards you. Well, Nick, before I close out with our little devotional, you got anything else you want to add?
I'm good.
You good to go. All right, guys. I said this the last episode. I'm going to start kind of closing out with just a quick little devotional. And today's is going to be out of the book of Mark, chapter 11. So we all kind of go through things, right? Military, first responders, men, women, and here today, we all go through rough times. Life is full of highs and lows. Some of us worse than others. Sometimes this, it might be something little, but it's dragging you down, or it might be something huge and you don't know, where to go from there. It feels like the walls are caving in, or maybe it just feels like there's one little thing in your way to the next step. But one thing I'll tell you, in the book of Mark, it tells you about belief and faith. The whole book is good. I mean, all four gospels are great and they tell you a lot of good things. But one thing I wanted to capitalize on today is chapter 11, verse 23 through 25. And I'll put it up here on the screen for anybody that wants to read it there. I tell you the truth, you can say to this mountain, may you be lifted up and thrown into the sea, and it will happen. But you must really believe it will happen and have no doubt in your heart. I tell you, you can pray for anything, and if you believe that you received it, it will be yours. But when you are praying, first forgive anyone you are holding a grudge against, so that your Father in heaven will forgive your sins too. So the big takeaway on that for me that I wanted to deliver here tonight is two things. Before you ever even come to that prayer, and at the beginning of that prayer, forgive those who you're grudging against. And that sometimes is the hardest thing in the world to do, and I get it. But think about it like this. Jesus commands us to forgive as he forgave us. Forgive before your prayer. and then truly believe your prayer is going to come true. No doubt, say your prayer. If you're in a hump or you're in a slump and you've been praying and praying and praying and you feel like nothing's coming, it's right on the other side. You just got to submit and give a little forgiveness where you need it, and don't doubt it. Pray it with everything that you've got, that you believe that you've already received it, and it will be given. And that's all I got. If anybody got any questions on that, let me know. Hit me up on Facebook. Some of y'all probably have my phone numbers, but we're always here to talk anything fishing, anything about this. We'll talk about it. Nick, you got anything else? Oh, the weeks next week. I forgot about next week. Next week we're gonna have Andrew Blair from Tactical Fishing come on. We're gonna dive in with him pretty deep. Army veteran, and he just moved down here, South Carolina this year. They've been supporting us since day one, so we're gonna kind of get his word out, get to know him a little bit on a personal level, and see what his organization's all about down there. Cool. Well, I don't really have anything else, Nick. Do you?
No, that's it.
That's it. All right, Roger that. Well, guys, thank y'all for watching another episode of the Sunday Football. See y'all next week. See ya.